Han Qing has a system for digging wall feet, and as long as the wall feet are successfully dug, he can obtain 100 years of internal power. Ding! Congratulations to the host for marrying Huang Rong and gaining 100 years of internal strength. Chapter 1. Digging and Digging in a Small Garden. You are listening at Novel FUL. Audio. Grandpa, please be kind and give me some food to eat. The passing man glanced contemptuously at the young beggar squatting on the street corner, disheveled and ragged. Ha! Tue! A mouthful of scorched yellow phlegm spat at the feet of the young beggar. If it weren't for timely avoidance, I was afraid that this 82-year-old phlegm would spit on him. The young beggar held half of the broken bowl in his hand and lifted his dirty braids that could not be washed with dozens of tons of shampoo, looking at the man. Cut. If you don't give it, then don't give it. Spitting everywhere is really lacking in quality. I tell you, you need to drink more water. This old phlegm is burnt yellow and has a strong liver fire. The young beggar lazily leaned against the corner of the wall, watching the passers-by passing by on the bustling street, and let out a faint sigh. What a bird world, it's really unfair. I'm just picking my nose and crossing into this damn world of martial arts. Let's just travel through time. It was a special time to travel to a beggar, who had a large number of wives and concubines and a wealthy family. They reached the pinnacle of their lives and married by Fumei, while I, Han Qing, did not. A bowl at the beginning and a rope at the end. I'm not Zhu Yuanzhang. Han Qing has been traveling through this world of martial arts for a few days, and apart from his identity as a beggar, there is nothing else. Not to mention awakening the so-called system and golden finger, the beginning is to become a disciple of Dai, hungry for 9 meals in 3 days. If it weren't for Han Qing stealing a few cucumbers from the back kitchen of the restaurant, the banquet would probably have started by now. Ding dang! A passing little girl looked pitifully at Han Qing and threw a copper plate into the broken bowl. Han Qing said slightly perfunctorily. A good person lives a peaceful life. Looking at the only 2 copper plates left in the broken bowl. Oh, it costs 3 yuan for a pancake. If you work hard to beg for food for a day, it's not enough to afford it. It's better to live stream and beg for food. It's all beggars, why are there so many kind-hearted people online? Just as Han Qing was racking his brains for today's meal, I only heard a burst of noise coming. Han Qing turned his gaze to a nearby alley. A beggar rushed out of the alley. There were more than 10 strong men wearing white clothes around them, wielding long knives with blood, crazily chopping at the beggar's body. Ah! Help me! The beggar was covered in blood, with countless open wounds visible deep in his bones, slowly emitting a large amount of black blood. Almost flowing all the way. Until he came out of the alley and was chopped down to the ground by a strong man. There is no chance to escape anymore. These strong men were ferocious and raised their long swords in a frenzy. I saw blood splattering, and pedestrians everywhere saw this extremely bloody scene, so scared they scattered and fled. The beggar let out a few screams and then there was no movement at all. However, even so, the group of strong men did not stop until the beggar lay in a large pool of blood, his whole body cut to the point of being covered in blood and flesh. Han Qing looked at the beggar with a shocked expression on his face. What is the situation? The leader wiped the blood off his face and shouted. I, the leader of the Tianli sect, have orders that no member of the beggars sect will spare no effort in pursuing them. Someone inquired. Big brother, how do you distinguish between members of the beggars sect and other ordinary beggars? Do you lean against the bag on your waist? The leader of the strong man cursed, distinguish a fart, it's just a group of beggars, kill them all without fail. At this moment, a member of the Tianli sect discovered Han Qing. Big brother, there's also a beggar over there. Kill him. The members of the Tianli sect rushed towards Han Qing with great momentum. Han Qing quickly stood up with a look of shock on his face, swaying left and right in the same spot at a loss. Sleeping slut. No, before crossing over, no one told me that beggars are also a high-risk profession. It's over, it's over. I don't want to die on the streets. Han Qing glanced at the warning he had learned from falling into a pool of blood, and was so scared that he threw away his broken bowl of begging and all his possessions, and ran away. A group of members of the Tianli sect were chasing closely behind with big knives. Stop. Stop me. Han Qing fled wildly while cursing angrily. So, who's stupid? When I saw someone chasing me, I really stood still. Han Qing relied on his charming walking style to quickly parkour and run wildly through the streets and alleys. What is useful on the roadside? Bamboo poles, straw, dried pickled vegetables, and unicycles. They were all pushed down by Han Qing, blocking the pursuit of the Tianli sect behind them. Even cows tied to the roadside. Han Qing untied the rope and kicked the cow's butt. Go ahead, let's run, Bull Demon King. The water buffalo felt pain and ran towards its back. The pursuers of the Tianli sect exclaimed in surprise. Just as Han Qing turned into a small alley, he didn't pay attention and stepped on a stone. Oh my God! Han Qing fell on all fours, injured his knee, and scraped some skin. Just as Han Qing was about to endure the pain and continue running, he realized that it was a dead end. Han Qing's face suddenly changed, filled with despair. What? It's a dead end, it's over. At this moment, the angry curses of the Tianli sect's pursuers came from behind Han Qing. Interestingly, that stinky beggar almost made 2 holes in my body when cows rushed towards us. When I caught him, I must chop him into meat paste. Han Qing was about to cry without tears at this moment. What a special thing, even asking for a meal is not enough, it's too much. Just as Han Qing was in despair, waiting for his death. Suddenly, a pair of small hands reached out from the door and pulled Han Qing lying on the ground in. Just as Han Qing gang disappeared, the pursuers of the Tianli sect arrived. What about that stinky beggar? How could he run so fast? Big brother, that's a dead end over there. There's no one around, so he must have gone ahead. Chase me. The pursuers of the Tianli sect gradually drifted away. Han Qing was covered in his mouth by a small hand, his eyes wide open, and he leaned against the wall in fear, nervously listening as the pursuers of the Tianli sect gradually moved away. That little hand finally let him go. Han Qing looked at the other party. Thank you very much for saving my life. You seem like a girl. The other party is a young beggar, also disheveled, in tattered clothes, and disheveled. However, through the wonderful curvature in front of the other person that attracted the man's gaze, coupled with their clear and bright eyes that revealed a hint of ancient spirit and cunning, Han Qing could still tell the other person's gender at a glance. The other party quickly covered themselves in front of them. Are you also being chased? Han Qing nodded helplessly. I didn't look at the almanac when I went out today, and no one told me that being a beggar is so risky. The little beggar let out a faint sigh. The beggar's sect has offended the Tianli sect. The Tianli sect is now chasing members of the beggar's sect all over the city and killing them whenever they see them. After all, 9 out of 10 beggars are members of the beggar's sect. Han Qing complained roast. I am the unlucky one. It seems that something is not quite right. But people in the world of martial arts probably don't understand. Anyway, you saved my life. Thank you very much. If it really doesn't work, why don't I make a promise with my own life? Everyone is a beggar, and no one despises anyone. Maybe one day it will be gone, so why not take advantage of the heat? The little beggar pushed Han Qing away. Go, I don't want it. What's your name? My name is Han Qing. My name is Huang Rong. Huang Rong. Perhaps Han Qing instinctively thought of Dongxia, the daughter of Huang Yaoshi, the owner of Peach Blossom Island. I heard that Huang Rong embodies the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. Brilliant all over the world, intelligent in ice and snow, exquisite and transparent, pure in ice and jade, versatile and knowledgeable in the past and present. Later, she married Qing and together defended her family and country, leading the righteous warriors of the martial arts world to fight against the Yuan dynasty, earning her the title of the unparalleled female hero. A woman like a peach blossom, but unfortunately, she did not succeed and both fell. At that time, Qing was still deeply saddened. Seeing that the woman named Huang Rong is also a member of the Beggar sect, it's hard to say that she's the one. Just as Qing was planning to confirm his conjecture. Suddenly, there was a ding-dong sound in my mind. Qing was frightened all over with excitement. Ding! The digging wall foot system is being activated. Ding! The digging wall foot system has been successfully bound. Qing was momentarily taken aback and immediately smelled the fragrance emanating from the CPU burning. The activation of the system excited Qing immensely. It's so touching, we are also systematic people. It's just that the name of this system seems a bit strange. Fortunately, I didn't give up and finally waited for you. Qing couldn't help but sing excitedly. Huang Rong, who was in front of her, looked surprised and quickly distanced herself from Qing. She even began to doubt whether Qing's mind was a bit out of place. A virtual interface that only he could see appeared in front of Qing. There is an introduction to the digging wall foot system above. As long as you dig the corner of the heavenly destiny's son's wall and marry their woman into the door, you can obtain 100 years of skill. The so-called Sons of Fate are the male protagonists in the world of martial arts. Digging out the women of the male protagonists and becoming their own women can earn them 100 years of systematic rewards for their skills. If you successfully dig the corner, you can obtain the corner value, which can be used to improve various skills such as martial arts and techniques. The wall corner value can also be exchanged for various martial arts and rare resources within the system's superior level. Wall corner value acquisition method. When poaching male and female protagonists, stimulate the Son of Destiny through various intimate interactive behaviors. Qing couldn't help but feel extremely excited. Damn it, this incredible wealth has finally come to me. Isn't this playing with the female lead in front of the martial arts male lead? Lying in bed, this wave of mockery on the rider's face is simply overwhelming. Although the reward is good, it is also a reckless act, as it is the Son of Fate. A person who doesn't play well and is killed by those rebellious martial arts male protagonists every minute is considered lucky to be lying on the street. It's normal to be beaten to ashes. No matter what, we are seeking wealth insurance. Why can't those top-notch martial arts female leads belong to Qing? I want to sleep with all the beautiful women in the world and give all the Sons of Fate a green and secluded hat. Qing's ear recalled a song. Digging and digging in the small garden. Thinking of this, Qing couldn't help but show a brilliant smile. According to the system prompt, Huang Rong in front of him is one of them. Qing's eyes lit up and he stared straight at Huang Rong in front of him. Huang Rong wrapped her clothes tightly and looked at Qing with a slightly guarded expression. Qing, what are you doing? You can't act recklessly. Chapter 2. Ugly Women Paired with Beggar. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Qing immediately started the movie Emperor mode. Before conquering the first destined woman, Qing, who had not been blessed with 100 years of martial arts, was just an ordinary person. If you want to successfully dig the foundation and complete your first drop of Forster Brad, you can only rely on Qing's intelligence and talent. Qing pounced at Huang Rong's feet, hugging her calves and began to cry bitterly, wailing and selling herself in a frenzy. Ronger, you don't know anything, cough cough cough. Actually, I am also a miserable person. I am suffering from a terminal illness and have no medical treatment. I was kicked out of the house by my family and ruthlessly abandoned. From then on, I became homeless and could only become a beggar, waiting for the end of my fate. I am truly an innocent and hardworking person. Oh my goodness, why do you treat me like this? I am such a positive and sunny child. I am full of love and longing for life. Why do you treat me so cruelly? Han Qing looked up to the sky and wept bitterly, tears streaming down his face. From various aspects and angles, he portrayed the image of a person who had suffered injustice and suffering. Whether it is the expression of body language or the portrayal of internal emotions, they are all delicate to the peak. The most important thing is that Han Qing really cried out. Even Huang Rong was moved by it. So it turns out that you are a pitiful person. Han Qing wiped his tears with Huang Rong's pants legs. So. Before I died, I had only one wish, which was to not marry and have children yet. As the saying goes, unfilial piety has 3 consequences, and having no offspring is great. Coincidentally, fate brought us together here. We are also destined to be together, and we can be considered a perfect match. Why don't you become a bodhisattva, show kindness, and marry me? As long as there's a simple ceremony, even if it's not a real wedding, even if it's marrying me and fulfilling my wish, I'll die without regrets, okay? Han Qing held on to Huang Rong's legs, her eyes emitting countless dazzling starlights, and her pleading gaze instantly overwhelmed Huang Rong. And Han Qing's heart was filled with excitement. Hee, while Guojing hasn't appeared yet, it's the best time to start attacking Huang Rong. Isn't it precisely because Huang Rong disguised herself as a little beggar that she met Guojing, the son of fate? Now is the time to replace it. Han Qing relaxed Huang Rong's vigilance by using the reason that he did not really round the house. When he truly worshipped Huang Rong, he should be able to obtain 100 years of skill, and the plan to dig the wall foot will be much smoother. But it's just an inexperienced little girl movie, using Han Qing's 36 methods to attract girls, it's not a matter of minutes. But when Huang Rong heard Han Qing's request to marry her, her originally slightly moved little face suddenly collapsed. When Han Qing is about to kick aside. Do you want me to marry you? You're so beautiful. I'm such a beautiful little beggar, how could I take a liking to you? You're a toad trying to eat swan meat, humph. Huang Rong hugged her arms, raised her small head high, and looked arrogantly to one side, not giving Han Qing any chance. This Han Qing was a bit confused. No, this script is not given correctly. I am a person with a system in mind. According to common sense, shouldn't I perform with such high quality and passion? Huang Rong was deeply moved. Not only did she agree to her request, but she also took the initiative to give birth and have children for herself, right? Why not play cards according to common sense? It must be my own way of opening it. Han Qing slowly huddled in the corner, sobbing with immense grievances, without saying a word. His main focus was on psychological torment and moral kidnapping. That's right. After all, as a dying person suffering from a terminal illness, no matter who follows me, it will delay them. I should end my life here. Only a tragic ending can fit my identity. Han Qing looked up at the sky at a 45-degree angle, and a tear of grief ran through the corner of his right eye. This world is too bitter, I will never come again in the next life. Huang Rong seemed a bit overwhelmed, so she waved her hand. All right, don't be so pitiful, it's making me feel uneasy. Your experience is indeed pitiful and worthy of sympathy, but I definitely can't marry you. But if you want to fulfill your wish, I can help you find a wife. How about that? Han Qing couldn't help but feel a little surprised. How could Huang Rong be so kind? But if it weren't for the women who are the sons of fate, or the leading female characters in the world of martial arts, ordinary women wouldn't be useful. But if Huang Rong can really handle it, even if she can bid farewell to her virginity career, it would be good. Han Qing felt a hint of joy in his heart, but his expression still showed a pitiful and aggrieved expression. Can you really do it? If you can't do it, just let it go. I don't want you to be too difficult. A person like me who doesn't matter is not worth it. Huang Rong, however, with immense loyalty, patted her small chest and swore confidently. Don't worry, I'll take care of the rest. After speaking, Huang Rong secretly slipped out of this dilapidated mansion and disappeared without a trace. Only Han Qing remained in the room waiting alone. Han Qing lay on the soft pile of straw, legs crossed, and a dog-tail grass in his mouth. TSK. I don't know if that Huang Rong is reliable or not. Can she really bring me a woman to pay respects and get married? It's not like she's deceiving me, is it? No way, that little girl is so heartless that she didn't eat my tricks. It seems that I need to deal with her in a different way. If necessary, I will use wingman and environmental sensationalism. I don't believe it anymore. My noble love Saint Han Qing still doesn't want to blame her for being an inexperienced little girl. Han Qing thought about it and fell into a deep sleep. After an unknown amount of time, Han Qing was awakened by the sound of a door opening. Han Qing rubbed his eyes and looked out the door. Huang Rong's iconic soft voice came from the door. Come on, that's it. Come in and take a look. Another timid voice sounded. Sister, didn't you lie to me? Do you really know how to teach me the secret to making delicious dishes? That recipe is really important to me. I also want to help my grandfather run a restaurant. Our business has been very sluggish lately. Huang Rong nodded confidently. Don't worry, of course I will teach you. Come with me. Amidst Han Qing's puzzled gaze, Huang Rong brought in a girl who looked foolish, dressed in simple coarse linen clothes, and seemed relatively young. Han Qing fixed his gaze and hissed, it seems that only youth is left. I saw this girl with a pockmarked face, dark yellow skin, and a big face that was even larger than a car tire, which was particularly amazing. The most deadly thing was that those eyes were as small as sesame seeds, almost disappearing from the entire big face plate. Nausea. This glance almost spat out the cucumber that Han Qing had eaten 3 days ago. Although the monitor is the lowest configuration, this physique is still decent, with a front convex and back curved design, everything that should be available. It's a woman, no problem. Han Qing couldn't help but have an idea in his heart. How about trying to cover your face? Anyway, it's the same. But when Han Qing's gaze fell on the ugly woman's face, she almost vomited. The thought was instantly dispelled. Han Qing asked Huang Rong. Ronger, what are you doing here? Huang Rong chuckled, her black and white eyes shining brightly with a hint of cunning. Of course I went to find a wife for you. Well, isn't this girl pretty good? I finally managed to find her for you. Click and wipe. It seemed like something was broken. Han Qing looked down and realized it was his own integrity. Oh, it's okay then. Ronger, this isn't that good. I don't think we're suitable. Compared to this girl, I think we have a stronger emotional foundation. Why don't you consider it again? At some point, Huang Rong had an extra wooden stick in her hand, which she pointed straight at Han Qing's chest. Speak with strong threatening language. What's not appropriate? It's natural for an ugly woman to be paired with a beggar. It's just a perfect match, isn't it all the same when you cover your face? Han Qing only realized now. Originally, Huang Rong had already noticed that his previous crying scene was completely a performance. In order to win Huang Rong's sympathy and achieve the goal of getting married by paying respects to her. And Huang Rong also schemed and deliberately brought an ugly woman to retaliate against Han Qing. Han Qing couldn't help but be furious. You. Huang Rong snorted coldly. You have malicious intentions towards me and are still trying to get married to me. It would be great if you didn't deal with me. Be sensible and pay respects to this girl quickly, otherwise I won't spare you. Han Qing clenched his fist indignantly. I'm warning you, don't threaten me with force. I'm a person who eats soft and doesn't eat hard. If you take action with me, then I'll. Huang Rong used her faint internal strength and stared at Han Qing with interested eyes. So how about that? Han Qing turned around and knelt in the direction of the hall. Thank you very much for your kindness. Han Qing felt speechless for a moment, but this time Huang Rong had actually made a move. Huang Rong has martial arts skills in his body, and now he has no strength to restrain himself. If he were to be tough, Huang Rong would be playing with him like a little chicken, without any resistance. Turn around and wait until the woman who married the Son of Heaven has gained 100 years of internal strength, then take good care of Huang Rong. With his formidable strength, he can freely restrain Huang Rong. It's not as he pleases, so he must unlock all positions on Huang Rong's body when the time comes. Fantasizing Huang Rong's extremely shy and pleading expression, Han Qing couldn't help but show an evil smile. He he. Han Qing's evil laughter made Huang Rong shiver with a chill. Can't help but mutter a sentence. What a pervert. Huang Rong looked at the ugly woman. If you want to learn that unparalleled recipe, you have to marry the little beggar in front of you. Although he doesn't like taking a shower, has athlete's foot, is terminally ill, snores, grinds his teeth, and farts while sleeping, he still looks handsome and has no problem with his character. He's just a bit abnormal. If you pay homage to him and get married, I will teach you all the recipes. Han Qing couldn't help but pout in frustration as Huang Rong took the opportunity to degrade and humiliate herself crazily. The ugly woman, on the other hand, had a troubled expression on her face. Sister, Grandpa said he must marry a man he truly loves. I don't even know him, how can we get married? It's really not possible. Chapter 3. Marrying you Lingshan and obtaining Centennial skill. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. The ugly woman lowered her head in embarrassment. Huang Rong did not give the ugly woman any refusal at all. That's not possible. Do you want your grandfather's restaurant to go bankrupt? How can you get an unparalleled recipe without paying a price? Come on, today I'll be an old man, and I'll make the decision about your marriage. Huang Rong placed the food that came from the restaurant of ugly grandfather on the table and even took out half a jar of wine. Although the conditions are a bit rudimentary, it's enough to match your status. Tonight, you can spend your wedding night well. Worshipping heaven and earth. With Huang Rong's shout. Han Qing and ugly girl, who were forced by Huang Rong, exchanged a glance and reluctantly bowed down. A faint blush appeared on the ugly woman's face. Huang Rong handed the wine to the two people. Watching the excitement happily. Come on, have a toast. Helplessly, Han Qing swallowed the toast. The ugly woman nodded shyly at Han Qing as she saw that the wood was already finished. I've met my husband. Han Qing looked at the ugly woman's big cake face and reluctantly pressed down on the dragon in her stomach. Okay. Huang Rong applauded and cheered excitedly on the side. Great, lovers will eventually get married. They are truly talented and beautiful. Groom official, you can kiss your wife now. Han Qing looked at Huang Rong's lively and indifferent expression, and couldn't help but cast a silent gaze. Huang Rong, please wait for me. If Han Qing doesn't dig you out later, I will swear not to be human. I will use 70.2 different postures for you. The threat returned, and Han Qing looked at the ugly bride in front of her with some helplessness. This woman is ugly and not yet the son of fate. Even if she has married someone, it's useless. It's simply impossible to receive system rewards. The biggest use can only be to cover your face and make do with it. How about? Try covering your face. Just as Han Qing hesitated and wavered in his heart. The sound of the system comes from the mind. Ding. The host is getting married to you Lingshan. Ding. Congratulations to the host for successfully digging the foot of the wall. Reward the host with 100 years of skill. The words have just finished. A powerful and magnificent pure internal force surged towards Han Qing's body from all directions. Along Han Qing's limbs and skeletons flowed into Dantian. Like a rushing river flowing eastward, it brings a refreshing and sour taste. Painful and happy. This feeling made Han Qing almost unable to help but scream with excitement. After a moment, the internal power that had been cultivated for 100 years poured into Han Qing's Dantian. Han Qing instinctively clenched his fists and felt waves of power like a vast ocean. It's really too strong. Han Qing was overjoyed. Is this the century-old internal power? It's so profound that it's hard to imagine. If it weren't for the old monster who has practiced for many years and has a long lifespan, ordinary people would find it difficult to resist Han Qing's century-old palm skill. Han Qing laughed uncontrollably in his heart. A smug smile appeared involuntarily. Ha ha ha. On the side, Huang Rong watched as Han Qing faced an ugly woman who was so ugly that she could still show such an excited and joyful smile. A chill rose from the bottom of his heart, and he secretly guessed whether this Han Qing had any special quirks. This kind of guy is really scary. If she doesn't do it well, she might even do something crazy to her. After all, I am so beautiful as a flower. After the excitement of obtaining 100 years of skill, Han Qing thought of another question. Although he possessed the vast internal power of practicing hard for hundreds of years within the Dantian, his own realm did not improve at all. Improving internal strength and realm are two different things. Although internal strength increases, the realm will inevitably improve, which is the most basic rule in the world of comprehensive martial arts. But Han Qing is an exception. To achieve growth in one's realm by enhancing internal power, the first and most basic step is to open up one's own unique meridians such as the 8 meridians and the 2 meridians of Ren and Du. Han Qing is just a kid from a beggar background, not a martial artist at all. There are no meridians in the body that have been opened up at all, and various corresponding internal mental techniques are also blackened out. Now Han Qing is like a beggar with a house full of golden mountains. Apart from the most basic strength and speed that surpass ordinary people, Han Qing knows nothing. The power that can be exerted is also very limited. In this situation, Han Qing has no cultivation level at all. How can he achieve any improvement? Han Qing realized it in his heart. It seems that having 100 years of martial arts skills alone is not enough, at least one needs to possess some martial arts and techniques. Without these, it would be difficult for a clever woman to cook without rice, which is purely a waste of her century-old skills. Obtaining the cultivation method was put on the agenda by Han Qing. This problem is not easy to solve at the moment, so Han Qing silently remembers it in his heart and waits for the appropriate time to arrive. Besides this matter, another doubt arose in Han Qing's heart. No, at least Lingshan is also the daughter of that hypocrite Buqun and Ningzhongzi. It's not as ugly as this. After all, Lingshan is also synonymous with the neighbor's junior sister, graceful, playful and lovely, incredibly kind and tender like water. How could it be so ugly that people and gods are so angry? How could this woman possibly be Lingshan? But Han Qing couldn't help but remember. Lingshan is not ugly, but has changed her appearance, and her appearance is also stunning. Especially after marrying Lin Pingji, this gentle and jade-like young woman showed a charming demeanor. It is simply a classic representative of wives. So, does Lingshan really need to be well watered? Han Qing couldn't help but pursed her lips and looked at Lingshan's graceful and curvaceous figure. Even Lingshan's ugliness was automatically blocked. She turned her own brain into an incredibly beautiful young woman. Since that's the case, let's have a good development over there. Han Qing reached out his hand and gently said to Lingshan. That Lingshan, you see it's getting late, why don't we get married earlier? This. Lingshan's face showed a slight blush, quite puzzled. Isn't it a promise to only get married and not have a romantic relationship? They're a bit scared. It's okay, brother Han Qing will be very gentle. Han Qing felt like a big bad wolf deceiving ignorant girls at this moment, and men would always tell a little lies. But Just as Han Qing was preparing to embark on a crazy attack on this foolish and sweet Lingshan. Bang! A loud explosion came from the entrance. A handsome young man rushed into the hospital with a sword, accompanied by a middle-aged man with long beard. As soon as the other party rushed into the courtyard, they shouted loudly. "Junior sister! Give it back to my junior sister!" The two immediately held long swords and threatened Han Qing and Huang Rong to hand over Lingshan. Lingshan couldn't help but smile with joy when she saw the two of them. "Senior brother. Second senior brother. Are you here?" Upon hearing Lingshan's nickname, Han Qing immediately understood their identities. Originally, it was Ling Huchong, the eldest disciple of Buqun from the Huashan sect, and Lao Dino, the second disciple. Ling Huchong's appearance does indeed have a somewhat handsome and unrestrained demeanor, which can also be considered to shoulder the demeanor of a martial arts hero. Ling Huchong breathed a sigh of relief when he saw that Lingshan was safe and sound. "Junior sister, are you okay? I heard that you left with a beggar, which made me very worried." "As long as you're okay, it's okay. Let's go back then, master will be worried." But at this moment, Han Qing reached out and stopped Lingshan. "Oh, that's not right. I just got married to Lingshan and have already ascended to heaven and earth, and descended to heaven and earth. We are now a legitimate couple. We are about to celebrate our wedding. Who are you? You want to snatch my beloved wife on our wedding night. I, Han Qing, will definitely not spare you." Han Qing didn't say a word, indicating his identity with Lingshan. The woman who finally managed to secure a destined son is still Ling Huchong's childhood sweetheart and Lin Pingji's hair-tied wife. Although I don't know if Lin Pingji is considered the son of fate, at least he can marry Ling Huchong's childhood sweetheart. Ling Huchong is definitely considered the son of fate. Han Qing naturally won't miss this great opportunity to output face power to Ling Huchong. What? Upon hearing this shocking news, Huchong was greatly shocked. Suddenly, his face changed and his body was filled with murderous energy. Ling Huchong shook his long sword and threatened Han Qing. "Don't talk nonsense. My junior sister is the daughter of the head of the Huashan sect. How could she marry a dirty beggar like you? If you continue to talk nonsense, I will definitely cut off your tongue." Seeing Ling Huchong's disbelief, Han Qing's lips lit up with a proud smile. "Don't you believe it? All right, then ask your junior sister." Ling Huchong looked at Lingshan. "Junior sister, can you?" Lingshan's face showed sadness and a hint of guilt and shame. She nodded slowly. Although Lingshan was also somewhat reluctant about this marriage, she had a good personality and naturally wouldn't lie or deceive Ling Huchong. "Sorry, senior brother." Lingshan did indeed bow to this young master and drink a toast, but there was also a reason for that. Lingshan didn't know how to explain this misunderstanding to Ling Huchong for a while. "No. Junior sister." "Why?" Ling Huchong was deeply struck, and his handsome face showed a strong expression of despair. Just kneeling down and unable to get up, with heavy snow falling, coupled with a BGM of pruning plum blossoms. "Tell me, this is not true." Ling Huchong was heartbroken and his body shook. Ding! Ling Huchong suffers a blow, and the protagonist gains a wall base value of 100. Han Qing raised a corner of his eye and couldn't help but show a happy expression on his face. Has the wall corner value been increased? Great, sleeping trough, cool. It turns out that women who ride their faces to mock the Son of Destiny and dig for the Son of Destiny will be so pleased. Although it's only 100, a little makes a lot, so it should be possible to ride your face multiple times to make the fox charge. The ultimate pleasure makes Han Qing feel ethereal. He made up his mind not to brush a wave of wall corner values on Ling Huchong. It would be a pity for his digging system. So Han Qing hugged Lingshan's shoulder and put on a happy and sweet look. Chapter 4, Buddy, your mouth is heavy enough. You are listening at Novel FUL. Audio. Ling Hu's senior brother doesn't have to be sad either. Since you are my wife's senior brother, you can naturally be considered my senior brother. Lingshan and I fell in love at first sight, and when we fell in love, we naturally let it go. Although weddings are a bit elaborate, I will definitely treat you to this wedding banquet. Lingshan doesn't know how to refuse, and her personality is relatively gentle. Although she feels a bit uncomfortable with Han Qing's intimate behavior, she doesn't have the intention to refuse. Young Master Han, this. Hey, call me husband. But my husband. Ling Huchong widened his eyes, his blood pressure skyrocketing, and he extended his trembling fingers towards Han Qing. Take your dirty hands off my junior sister, come on. Otherwise, I'll chop your hand. Just as Han Qing was preparing to further stimulate Ling Huchong, more than 10 disciples dressed in white robes once again burst into the doorway. Ha ha ha. Alright, let me find a good meal. So, you little beggar here, oh. Unexpectedly, there's also an extra female beggar. Alright, I'll kill you all together. Han Qing fixed his eyes on the Tianli sect disciples who were chasing him during the day. After possessing 100 years of martial arts skills, although Han Qing did not practice, he did not possess any techniques. However, there are still instincts and warning signs that strong people should have. More than a dozen members of the Tianli sect had average strength and did not make Han Qing feel uneasy or nervous. The tall, tiger-eyed, and bearded burly man in charge exuded a strong aura, bringing some pressure to Han Qing. Han Qing had a hint of caution in his heart. This person has strong strength, even surpassing Ling Huchong and Lao Dinu in internal strength. I'm afraid he's a top-notch expert. Some are difficult to deal with. The first-class expert glanced at the courtyard and saw 3 men and 2 women, his eyes lit up. Ha ha ha. I didn't expect there were actually 2 women here. Wonderful, don't kill the women. Kill those 3 men and bring the women back to warm the bed for me. I will spoil you well, ha ha ha. Lingshan couldn't help but instinctively shrink behind Han Qing as she watched the drooling expression on this top-notch expert's face. Young Master Han, I'm afraid. Seeing the other person actually bring themselves back to warm the bed and sleep on themselves. Huang Rong naturally couldn't get used to the other party for her short temper. Immediately, he shook his long sword in his hand and confronted the top-notch expert in great anger. Even you ugly brute, you want to sleep with me. Dreaming. Today, I will act on behalf of heaven and slay you by the sword. Unexpectedly, this top-notch expert just gave Huang Rong a disdainful glance. Feeling extremely disgusted, he said, take you back. You overthink it, I want to catch that girl. The first-class expert was extremely obsessed, excited to the point of gasping for breath, with a seductive expression. TSK, look. What a perfect pancake face this is, with the dense pockmarks and acne scars on it, and the dark skin. Have you ever seen a woman in the world who is more perfect than her? And that graceful and curvaceous figure, so plump, definitely can give me a son, ah. This is simply my fairy, beauty, come with me. If you wholeheartedly follow me and give me a son, even if you want the stars in the sky, I will pick them for you. Gudu. Speaking of which, the first-class expert couldn't help but swallow his saliva uncontrollably, obviously tempted by Lingshan. Sleeping slot. Everyone present turned their gaze to Lingshan. Originally, this top-notch expert was attracted to Lingshan, who had an extremely ugly appearance. And Lingshan was also embarrassed to be praised by first-class experts like this. A faint blush appeared on the face of the dark pancake, looking black, red, and black. Lingshan awkwardly rubbed the corners of her clothes and said in a mosquito fly-like voice. But I have already become a married woman. Huang Rong's previous expression was just anger, but now there is a hint of shock and awkwardness, even gradually turning towards a purple hue. I. Huang Rong was so angry that she wanted to curse. She is at least the grand leader of Peach Blossom Island, but can't compare to an extremely ugly Lingshan. Is there a normal human aesthetic? Even Han Qing was amazed and roast about it. No, at least I'm planning to cover my face and make do with it. How could you handle this? I admit I'm a bit of a pervert, you're a pure 24K pervert. I admire you. Han Qing gave a thumbs up. This guy really has a heavy mouth. This will make Hu Chong furious. Lingshan and Han Qing inexplicably got married in a church. Now surprisingly, people from the Tianli sect have emerged again to forcibly rob the common women and even designate their own ugly junior sisters. Lingshan never imagined that such an ugly girl would have such a day and become a coveted object in everyone's eyes. Ling Hu Chong was furious and said. Dog thief, you want to touch my junior sister? No way, unless you step on my corpse. Drink. Ling Hu Chong shook his long sword and rushed towards the first-class expert. The sword light is sharp and imposing like a rainbow. Unfortunately, Ling Hu Chong is not yet the famous Ling Hu hero. The first-class expert looked at Ling Hu Chong and couldn't help but sneer. Just rely on you. Just a piece of trash, then I'll fulfill you. The first-class expert was extremely fast, with a slight body shape on one side. He dodged the long sword that Ling Hu Chong was thrusting towards him, and with a powerful left palm, he fiercely slapped Ling Hu Chong's chest. Ling Hu Chong's body suddenly drew an elegant arc. With a thud, he fell to the ground, spewing blood from his mouth, his face turning pale, and his long sword also slipped out of his hand. Upon seeing this, Laudi Nu and Lingshan couldn't help but exclaim in surprise. Senior brother. Lingshan wanted to go and help Ling Hu Chong, but was stopped by Han Qing without a trace. Don't panic, a virtuous wife. Let me protect you as my husband. Lauderno was extremely angry. Shouted in a fierce and loud voice. Senior brother, I'm here to avenge you, ah. Lauderno had just shouted out loud when he heard a loud bang. 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 The first-class expert didn't even look up at Lauderno's attack. Lifting his leg, he kicked Lauderno into a rolling gourd and smashed it directly onto the dilapidated vat in the courtyard, shattering the ground. Ling Hu Chong and Laudi Nu were each in a miserable state, with blood at the corners of their mouths and hands covering their chests, showing no resistance at all. Huang Rong and Lingshan's faces suddenly changed. The first-class expert's strength is so strong, I'm afraid he's not a match either. Is it true that Lingshan will be captured by him and given birth to a son? Lingshan's face turned pale as she panicked and grabbed Han Qing's sleeve with a pair of small hands. Han Gongzi, I don't want to go with him, help me. She can only place her last hope on Han Qing. The first-class expert sneered, gave a ferocious smile, and revealed a set of yellow teeth. Hee, little beauty, that stinky beggar is just a waste. He can't save you. Follow me obediently. A first-class expert greets his subordinates around him. Be quick, get rid of these 3 men for me, and that ugly woman will make you happy. The first-class expert pointed to Huang Rong standing on the side. Huang Rong suddenly exploded. Why do you say who is an ugly woman? You blind and despicable brute. The disciples of the Tianli sect showed extremely excited smiles, rubbing their hands and pressing towards Han Qing and others. He. Coincidentally, little beauty, we will take good care of you. Seeing the disciples of the Tianli sect pressing closely, Huang Rong and Lingshan had no choice but to retreat behind Han Qing. Han Qing raised an incredibly confident smile at the corner of her mouth and gently touched Lingshan's little hand. Next, let's leave it to your husband. Han Qing suddenly let out a loud shout. Dead barbarian, give me a slap. Han Qing infused his century-old skills into his right palm. Although he had no martial arts or techniques, he could still reduce his power by 10 times with just pure power. The first class expert, looking at Han Qing's huge and flawed steps and completely incorrect attack posture, knew that Han Qing was a pure outsider. He was not a martial artist who had practiced before, so he stood still more arrogantly and recklessly, holding his chest open. Just because you're an amateur beggar, you want to kill me too? Joke, I'll show you the difference between first-class experts and ordinary people like you later. I'll be right in front of you and spoil your little wife well. Han Qing was overjoyed to see that the first-class expert did not dodge or dodge. If the opponent takes a step, he may not really hit. If it's a fixed target, even a fool can hit it. Not waiting for first-class experts to arrogantly finish. Boom! Han Qing's right palm, with a faint white light, fiercely bombarded the chest of a first-class expert with a century-old skill. Peepa peepa, a loud roar obscured the crisp sound of bones exploding. The top-notch expert instantly shattered his bones and shook his internal organs into a pile of mud. The whole body flew backwards like a shell. Not only did he smash the gate of the abandoned mansion, but his body continued to fly backwards. Bang, bang, bang! More than 10 layers of walls and houses have smashed a large hole that is over 1 person tall into the body of a first-class expert, reflecting an incredibly clear, big shape. Until flying more than 10 zhang away, a cloud of smoke and dust splattered out, and the distant house collapsed with a loud bang, burying the remains of the first-class expert on the spot. For a moment, everyone present fell into a petrified state. Staring blankly at the big character that appeared out of thin air on the wall, he looked at the initiator of this incident, Han Qing, with extremely shocked eyes. Han Qing put on the image of a great master and casually patted the dust on the beggar's outfit, resulting in a burst of flying ash. Han Qing waved his hand and dispersed the swirling dust before standing with his hands down. Cough cough. He's just a first-class expert, but that's all. Han Qing felt that his image at this moment was incredibly majestic. The surging force far exceeded his own imagination. Han Qing's mouth was constantly twitching. This corner of the mouth is really harder to suppress than no, you can't laugh, I'm a master. Han Qing turned around and smiled confidently at Lingshan. Don't worry, with your husband around, no one can harm you. This outfit is simply perfect. Lingshan covered her mouth with her small hand and looked shocked. A hint of surprise and admiration appeared in those blinking little eyes. Chapter 5. Divorce. That doesn't exist. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Wow, Master Han is so amazing. Lingshan blinked her small eyes and looked up and down at Han Qing. A strange emotion couldn't help but arise in my heart. Although Han Gongzi is a beggar, it seems that he has exceptional strength and a somewhat handsome appearance. Lingshan's resistance towards marrying Han Qing seems to have dissipated slightly. Standing on the side, Huang Rong also widened her beautiful eyes in great surprise. As if meeting Han Qing for the first time, Zai carefully scrutinized him up and down. I didn't expect this little beggar to have such strength. Although he appears to be an outsider, his profound internal strength may not even be easily resisted by his father, right? What kind of person is he? Huang Rong also developed an extremely strong curiosity towards Han Qing. No, you must find an opportunity to inquire about the details of this little beggar when you come back. Han Qing saw that his actions not only resolved the crisis, but also caught the attention of the two beauties, and couldn't help but show a faint smile. He casually tidied up his long, covered hair, trying to salvage his handsome image. Han Qing shouted loudly to the frightened disciples of the Tianli sect. Why don't you get out of here? While I'm in a good mood now, I'll spare my life. If not, you'll all end up like him. Having learned from previous experiences, deterrence and intimidation are very effective. Run quickly. Damn it. This guy is really terrifying, isn't he a great master? Let's go, I don't want to die yet. The other disciples of the Tianli sect were so frightened that they all fled the scene when they saw the top-notch experts being killed with a single palm. Han Qing looked at Lao Dinu and Linghu Chong lying on the ground, still in a petrified state, seriously injured, and once again rode his face with pride, mocking them. Linghu's senior brother, how was my palm just now? Please give Linghu senior brother more guidance. Linghu Chong's expression, which was originally bewildered and shocked, instantly turned red. Are you still asking him for guidance? Even their master Yubuchuan's legs were weak in fear with this palm, and he even gave some guidance. This is humiliation, this is blatant humiliation. But it is an undeniable fact that he suffered a disastrous defeat at the hands of first-class experts, and he was easily killed by Han Qing. Although Linghu Chong may be a bit rebellious, he is not a shameless and stubborn person. Linghu Chong held back for half a day, almost bursting with internal injuries, but couldn't say a word. Under great helplessness, he could only snort coldly and turn his head to one side. This is already his last stubbornness. Ding! Linghu Chong suffers a blow, and the protagonist gains a wall base value of 100. Has the wall corner value been increased again? Han Qing was ecstatic in his heart. I knew that by using Lingshan's point of view and repeatedly filling cups in front of Linghu Chong, one could repeatedly brush the wall corner value in front of a destined son, which would be easy to handle. Just turn around and repeatedly output in front of Linghu Chong. The son of destiny, right. The protagonist of martial arts, right. Alright. I fight against the elite and mock the son of destiny. It has to be said that filling a cup in front of the son of destiny is really exhilarating. Han Qing took a deep breath, feeling a bit ethereal. Piao gui piao, but Han Qing was not too proud to forget. He immediately remembered his weakness just now. That top-notch expert was also too arrogant, completely ignoring Han Qing, otherwise he wouldn't have died so decisively. In the face of his attack, not every enemy will stand straight in front of him to fight. If there is any movement or step, Han Qing, as an outsider, cannot hit the opponent at all. Even if Han Qing has billions of years of skill, if he can't hit it, it's still equivalent to not having it. Han Qing is particularly eager to cultivate martial arts and techniques, and only by improving his strength can he fully unleash his century-old skills. He doesn't want to be a scapegoat who has a huge sum of money but can't spend it. Han Qing's gaze immediately fell on Huang Rong. Approaching Huang Rong, he discussed in an extremely gentle tone. Ronger, I know you must have some internal skills, right? Can you teach me? How about I buy you some delicious food later? Although Huang Rong is ancient, supernatural, and extremely intelligent, at this moment, she is not yet the peerless female hero who is unparalleled in the world and not inferior to women. As long as it's a little girl, there will be flaws. Han Qing plans to use some delicious food to attract Huang Rong's attention. The first step is to obtain the martial arts from her, and mastering Huang Rong is Han Qing's ultimate goal. After all, there are still 72 styles waiting for Huang Rong. Han Qing has only one advantage, which is patience, perseverance, and perseverance. When it comes to using the 72 style on Huang Rong, even the 71 style cannot be used. Upon hearing Han Qing's request, Huang Rong pouted and turned her head to reluctantly snort coldly. You're thinking beautiful, aren't you a peerless master? Do you still need to practice martial arts? Are you deliberately humiliating me? I thought you were a weak beggar before, but I didn't expect you to be very good at pretending to be a pig and eating a tiger. Even I deceived you together, I don't want to teach you, just a little. Huang Rong made a face at Han Qing and tilted her small head to the side, seeming to be angry with him. Han Qing gave a smirk. Actually, I also have some difficulties. Han Qing muttered in his heart, if it weren't for you bringing me Lingshan, where would I have obtained 100 years of skill? It's almost like the whole army will be destroyed. Thinking of the dangerous situation just now, Han Qing felt a wave of fear in his heart. At this moment, Lingshan leaned in front of Han Qing and said with a sincere and honest expression. Han Gongzi, Miss Ronger, actually. I am not the granddaughter of the restaurant grandfather. I have hidden my identity and I am very sorry. It was mainly due to some special reasons that I stayed at the restaurant to help. Actually, my identity is the daughter of Buqun, the leader of the Huashan sect. My name is Lingshan, and they are the eldest and second senior brothers of the Huashan sect. Since they have come to find me, it is time to go back. A hint of guilt flashed in Lingshan's eyes. I'm sorry, although I had no choice but to pay respects and get married to Lord Han just now, I think Lord Han is also a good person. Perhaps Lord Han can choose the person who suits his heart. Since young Master Han needs martial arts, I am willing to use the martial arts of our Huashan sect. I only hope that young Master Han can dissolve my marital relationship with me. I don't know if that's possible. Lingshan nibbled lightly on her lips, seeming somewhat conflicted and helpless. Han Qing shook his head wildly without saying a word. Just kidding, I got married based on my abilities, why should I divorce? I finally married a woman, even if I had to cover my face, let alone the classic junior sister Lingshan. Lingshan is also a great beauty who embodies the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, is playful, lovely, gentle, and passionate. If we can cultivate it a bit, why not take off in place? How could Han Qing let a duck with a mouth fly? How can a mere cultivation technique compare to the marital relationship between you and me? Although we have just gotten married, we can still be considered as a one-day couple. As the saying goes, one day a couple is 100 days of kindness, and 100 days of kindness is like sea cucumbers. Deep in the sea. How can a profound friendship like the sea be replaced by a mere cultivation technique? I would rather not have this cultivation technique than let me leave you. How can our pure marital relationship be measured by other external things? Han Qing immediately unleashed his 3-inch unbeatable demeanor, which he had honed through years of running sales, and launched a reckless and nonsensical approach to argue with Lingshan. Even the old fogies who are wandering in the workplace and running on trains may not have talked about Han Qing, let alone the shy and introverted Lingshan, who is also silly and inexperienced. Lingshan's face was urgent and helpless, and she said with embarrassment and anger. Oh, young Master Han, I didn't mean that. Just now. It was just a misunderstanding. Lingshan instinctively glanced at Ling Huchong. I really can't marry you, young Master Han, and I have to enter the bridal chamber. Oh. Han Qing suddenly understood. It seems that the little thought in Lingshan's heart has not been completely severed yet. Then, I, Han Qing, will help you two childhood sweethearts to be completely severed. With a system in my body, can I still not compare to just a Ling Huchong? Han Qing expressed her final attitude. Hey, I didn't expect to have such a low status in my beloved wife's heart. Anyway, I don't want any martial arts, but I will definitely not let go of marriage. In my Han Qing's dictionary, only widowhood, no separation. If my beloved wife wants to abandon me, then wait for me to die. Lingshan was a bit impatient. At least she is also the daughter of a legitimate and prestigious sect. If Han Qing disagrees, she naturally cannot escape her status as a wife, let alone be with others again. If he carries such a stigma, the gentleman Jian Buqun, who has always cherished his reputation, must not be ashamed to commit suicide. Lingshan couldn't help but anger and say, young Master Han, you're going too far. I hate you. After speaking, Lingshan angrily turned around and ran away. leaving only a graceful and perfect silhouette. Han Qing shook his head proudly, admiring the distant figure of his beloved wife. TSK. Even anger is so gentle, truly worthy of being my Han Qing's little wife. This figure is Jenny Mediajan, and when paired with that charming and pretty little face, you won't be able to take off yet. It's really perfect. As a seasoned colorist, Han Qing is well versed in the subtleties of it. Han Qing couldn't help but swallow a mouthful of water. When I think of the future, I may encounter all the beautiful and unparalleled female protagonists in the world of martial arts, each with their own unique strengths. Han Qing couldn't help but laugh like Xing Shaoxian. Muhaha. At this moment, Han Qing realized that Lao Dino and Ling Huchong were looking at him with disdain on their faces. But Han Qing didn't think so. What's wrong? I'm looking at my own wife. Is there anything wrong with her? Mine. Lao Dino smiled bitterly and covered his chest, stumbling as he chased after him. Junior sister, walk slowly and don't get lost again. Ling Huchong, on the other hand, had an angry expression on his face and uttered his first foul language in his life. Damn it. Then the figures of the three siblings completely disappeared from Han Qing's sight. Chapter 6. Introduction to Huang Rong, practicing the blue wave palm technique. You are listening at novelfull.audio. So. It's Huang Rong's turn next. Huang Rong took a few cautious steps back and tightened her collar. She now understands that Han Qing is a starving wolf who does not hesitate to eat, and he is also the kind who does not nitpick. Lingshan can even swallow it, so she is simply a delicious delicacy. What are you doing? Stay away from me. Although your internal strength is unfathomable, I also have means. If you force me, I will call someone. Han Qing shook his finger. No, I'm not targeting you. Actually, I just want to clarify the misunderstanding between the two of us. Actually, I didn't mean to hide it from you. I really don't know what happened just now. Not long ago, I wandered into a secluded cave and was extremely hungry. I grabbed the contents of the cave and ate them. After finishing, I felt a fever all over, unbearable abdominal pain, and passed out completely. As a result, I didn't die, so I wandered into this city. Who knew that thing might be a heavenly material and earth treasure that increased my martial arts skills? I also suddenly gained this powerful internal power. You see, I have no cocoons or traces of practicing martial arts on my body. I am really an ordinary beggar. Huang Rong looked at Han Qing with some suspicion and reached out her hand to carefully examine Han Qing's palms, legs, feet, and other parts. See, how could anyone become a peerless expert without any cocoons? Isn't this nonsense? Huang Rong finally believed Han Qing's words. It turns out that's the case. It seems that you, a little beggar, have good luck. I didn't expect you to have the opportunity to obtain such an exaggerated talent and treasure. Anyway, just now I saw that you could have saved me, so I'll teach you a technique from our Peach Blossom Island. Otherwise, your strong internal strength would have been wasted in vain. However, you have to call me master. Humph. Huang Rong proudly carried her hands behind her back, as if it was a great honor to become a master of a master like Han Qing. Oh. Master-apprentice love, I like it. Han Qing shouted without any difficulty. Thank you very much, master. Huang Rong patted Han Qing's shoulder and put on a master's dignified demeanor. I'll waive the ceremony of master-disciple. Just come back and beat my legs and rub my shoulders. Little did Huang Rong know that being able to give Huang Rong such a spirited beauty a massage was simply a reward for Han Qing. Okay, there's no problem at all. Han Qing squinted his eyes slightly and stared at Huang Rong in front of him, like a wild beast staring at the cute and tempting prey in front of him. It seems that everything is developing in the direction that Han Qing wants. Huang Rong wrote a serious work of martial arts. Collaborate with the illustrations transcribed by Huang Rong to teach Han Qing. This palm technique is called the Blue Wave Palm Technique, which is my beginner's skill on Peach Blossom Island. The palm is like a wave, with multiple layers advancing step by step. Although it is shallow, it already contains the basic principles of Peach Blossom Island martial arts. If you study and familiarize yourself with the hidden mysteries of this palm technique, it will be helpful for you to understand many martial arts techniques in the future. It is also equipped with corresponding internal mental techniques. Although not very advanced, it is still much better than the garbage techniques that do not enter the outside world. As a beginner, learning it is most suitable. Han Qing felt a sense of joy in his heart. He is not a martial arts practitioner, even if given a complete book of Dugujujian, he may not be able to comprehend it. This most basic yet incredibly solid and simple cultivation method is truly suitable. Han Qing began to diligently memorize the mind technique and practice it in conjunction with it. However, Han Qing has never been exposed to martial arts and has no understanding of any martial arts foundation. In this situation, Han Qing can only rely on the same system as in school and memorize it first. But when it comes to comprehending the mind method, a big problem arises. What ordinary martial arts practitioners know at a glance, Han Qing has no idea what it means. After a long while, Han Qing didn't even take a step forward. Master Ronger, what does the meaning of mind technique here mean? It means sinking internal energy. But when I sink, I want to fart. Huang Rong looked at Han Qing, who asked 3 questions but didn't know, and sighed helplessly. I've never seen you so stupid before. That's not what I meant. Forget it, considering that you're a pure newcomer, I'll teach you the most basic martial arts theories first, and you'll understand the meaning of the mind technique. Although Huang Rong kept criticizing Han Qing, she patiently guided and taught him. Sometimes I even get started directly, holding hands with Han Qing to understand. Han Qing sniffed the peach blossom like fragrance emanating from Huang Rong's body, shaking his head and brain as he studied. Oh. So it's like this, hiss. Oh. I understand. Tianli sect, with a grand mouth of wind and fire. It's not good, master. There's a big deal going on. A disciple of the Tianli sect ran back from outside in a lively manner and shouted before entering the door. And in the main hall at the entrance, a bald man with a big and round waist, 5 big and 3 thick, and a ferocious spirit was sitting upright on the Grand Tutor's chair. Exposed to the outside, the arms with muscles resembling rocks are tattooed with blue-faced fangs and ferocious evil spirits. But it's just such a tough guy who can directly scare children and scare soft adults. At this moment, I am holding a novel in my hand and crying uncontrollably. The title of the book above is undoubtedly Palace Legacy Dream. A poignant novel written by Madame Long. Suck in. Hiss. Baldy looked while holding a handkerchief and blowing his nose. It's so touching, it's so touching. Chen Ziyunu is so innocent and pitiful. If it were me, I would use a devilish sword to cut off the dog emperor and the malicious concubine who betrayed Chen Ziyunu. Deeply in love, the city of Beacon Fire picked up a ghost-headed sword weighing over 50 pounds and crazily slashed through the air. It seems to be defending the tragic female protagonist in the melancholic novel. With a wave of the ghost head's big knife, a strong wind suddenly swept through the room. The iron ring above jingled and made waves of ghostly cries and wolf howls. The person listening has a tingling scalp. Wow Fenghuo Yanchen opens another page. Woo-woo. Woo-woo. It's too hurtful, it's just too much. How could you treat her like this? She's innocent. Wind and fire echoed through the city, making a wailing sound. For a moment, tears welled up and grief broke out. Quickly reaching out to cover his sturdy chest covered in chest hair, he cried more and more as he looked at it. I often feel hysterical and unable to control myself. Even a few times I cried and fainted inside the wind and fire hall. The disciples of the Qianli sect rushed to the door and knelt before the Forcefully Lingshan. Master, the big deal is not going well. One of the 12 gatekeepers, the Black Wine Lord, has had an accident. Forcefully Lingshan once again let out a burst of mournful cries. 2 large eyebrows suddenly flew up, with a fierce and ferocious roar on their face. What are you shouting for? Didn't you see the master of this hall watching Lady Long's classic masterpiece, Dream of the Palace? My favorite in the bustling city is young women, especially those like Lady Long who are talented, talented, and full of knowledge. Who wouldn't know that I am the #1 fan of Lady Long in the world of Forcefully Lingshan? While I am admiring Lady Long's classic works, don't disturb me, be careful not to let me chop your head off. When appreciating art, any slight distraction is a desecration of my idol. Forcefully suddenly stood up from the chair. Those ghostly eyes glared and frightened the disciples of the Qianli sect, causing them to sit on the ground. The disciples of the Qianli sect sat on the ground and retreated repeatedly, almost being scared to pee by the wind, fire, and city. He shook his hands like a sieve. Master, please calm down. Yes. It's Lord Heijio. He was killed. What? With a flick of his big sword eyebrow, the city of wind and fire finally regained consciousness. He is one of the 12 generals under my command, all of whom are top-notch experts. Surprisingly, he died. What exactly happened? Forcefully Lingshan picked up the ghost-head sword in one hand and the frightened subordinate in the other, and walked towards the outside of the hall entrance. The disciples of the Qianli sect pointed to the corpse that had just been carried in at the door and covered with a white cloth. Master, look, the body of Lord Heijio is right over there. We were ordered to hunt down disciples of the Beggar's sect just now, but unfortunately, we met 2 beggars. The scene at that time was told in detail by the disciples of the Qianli sect. Forcefully Lingshan lifted the white cloth with the blade of a ghost-headed sword. Upon seeing the body below, it was relatively intact, but with bleeding from all 7 orifices, a grim face, and a body like mud. The bones and muscles were shattered into a pack of thick black wine. Forcefully Lingshan couldn't help but exclaim in surprise, his mouth twitched unnaturally twice, and a look of terror appeared in his eyes. Immediately frowned and pondered. Beggar. How could that be? Black wine is a top-notch expert. He was able to break his muscles and bones with a single palm, only to be hit by a palm in the chest, hissing. Wind and fire caressed my numb bald head. Such strong and terrifying palm power, if it were within the Beggar's sect, could only be found in their Beggar's sect leaders Xiao Feng and the Supreme Elder Hong Qigong. Now that Xiao Feng has been discovered by the Beggar's sect as a chitin and has been expelled from the Beggar's sect, it shouldn't be him. Did Hong Qigong come to the city of Fuzhou? Forcefully Lingshan swallowed a mouthful of saliva with difficulty. Not good. Hong Qigong is a renowned top-notch expert. Even with my level of being a top-notch expert in Forcefully Lingshan, I can never be a match for Hong Qigong, that old beggar. Thinking of this place, a deep chill surged from the back of the wind and fire-connected city. Forcefully Lingshan quickly summoned his subordinates around him. Hey, quickly report this matter to the sect leader and ask him to send unparalleled experts to solve Hong Qigong of the Beggar sect. He said that Hong Qigong killed Black Wine and was currently in Fuzhou City. We must speed up the horse and not tolerate any delay. Go quickly. Under the urging of wind and fire, several disciples of the Qianli sect hurriedly mounted horses and headed towards the headquarters of the Qianli sect. Oh, by the way, there's one more thing. A disciple of the Qianli sect approached. Master, please give orders. Forcefully Lingshan touched his bald head. I heard that Madame Long has released a new work, and as her top fan, I naturally want to support her. You go buy it quickly, send more people, print more, and then promote it. Be sure to increase Madame Long's popularity. Let more people know about Mrs. Long's talent. Ah! The disciples of the Tianli sect stood still. Hong Qigong has already arrived in Fuzhou City, and the city of Fenghua is still worried about this matter. Feng Hulianqing anxiously urged, "What are you? Go quickly, this is also a top priority." Yes, go now. Chapter 7. Entering the martial arts path, promoting to first class, great perfection. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Abandoned Courtyard. After several hours of study, Han Qing was able to gain a comprehensive understanding of the basic theories of martial arts through Huang Rong's teachings. At the same time, it was also under Han Qing's earnest demand that Huang Rong taught him the Bibo palm technique hand in hand. When learning this palm technique, Han Qing tightly grasped Huang Rong's small hand in order to make himself proficient. Although Huang Rong felt a little reluctant, she still lost herself in the midst of Han Qing's beautiful master whispering. The two of them struggled for a while, and finally, before exhaustion and patience were completely exhausted, Han Qing was able to perform the blue wave palm technique as he wished. Boom! Han Qing uses the blue wave palm technique to drive the internal power of his body, transmitting the internal power from the Dan field to his palm through the technique. With just a casual wave, a powerful internal force burst out through Han Qing's palm. Hit the rockery not far away. Bombed the small rockery, which was over half a zhang high, into pieces on the ground. The faint blue palm style, along with the continuous special strength, also represents Han Qing's genuine wave palm technique. Huang Rong nodded her little head in satisfaction. Appreciating Han Qing on the side. Not bad, although you may be a bit foolish, you are still within the range that a teacher can bear. Now that you have officially started using your blue wave palm technique, you will need to study hard and practice hard in the future, striving to achieve a perfect state. Your blue wave palm technique, along with the support of your rich internal power, is essential. As long as you don't encounter extremely powerful experts, there is generally no problem with self-protection. Even when facing opponents with mysterious body methods, you can have the means to catch one or two. This is also what Han Qing urgently needs. Han Qing was timely praising on the side. He, my disciple is dull, it's better for my master to teach me. Huang Rong had no idea that Han Qing's malicious intentions were clearly the most sinister move in the martial arts world, and he wanted to kill them. She proudly put on the airs of her master. That's natural, but that's also what a teacher should do. Han Qing showed a knowing smile, and Huang Rong's small hands and slender waist were measured by his own hands. Huang Rong has been praised and indulged, and he can also be considered to have overcome his hand addiction. It has to be said that Huang Rong's qualifications are indeed much better than Lingshan's, especially with that small hand, which is called a tender one to describe it in 4 words, Jia means blowing through and being able to bounce. Just to say, continue to study and practice diligently, spending several years practicing this blue wave palm technique day by day. Sorry, Han Qing is not that down-to-earth person. This is equivalent to, I have these 8 characters, who would even take the stairs. What kind of system does Laozi have? Who would still practice diligently? After Han Qing's research, he found that although the system could not allow him to directly comprehend the extremely profound martial arts secrets, can only provide 100 years of skill. But within the system, wall corner values can be used to exchange for elixirs, supplies, and improve Han Qing's proficiency in martial arts. Based on the martial arts knowledge learned from Huang Rong just now, Han Qing, an outsider, finally knows something. In this world of comprehensive martial arts, the proficiency of martial arts can be divided into beginner, minor achievement, major achievement, transformation, and perfection. From beginner to completion, there are a total of 5 levels. It took Han Qing several hours to study just one beginner. According to Huang Rong, even with her talent, it took her 3 years to practice the blue wave palm technique to perfection. If it were someone else, it would definitely take longer. And Han Qing's talent in martial arts is really mediocre. If only a simple blue wave palm technique were practiced for another 10 years, Han Qing wouldn't even need to play. The little beauties everywhere have all gone to compete with the Son of Destiny. What is the key to snatching the beauties? Time. Time is beauty. Besides, Han Qing doesn't have that patience either. Han Qing's mouth curved slightly with pride. Humph. We have a system to keep us close. What identity are we? We still need to practice hard. I directly hit the corner value with one hand. Han Qing opens the system interface. Found the page where you have mastered the skills. Learned martial arts. Blue wave palm technique, beginner, and behind the blue wave palm technique, there is a plus sign. Han Qing, be careful. Do you want to strengthen the blue wave palm technique? Yes. Han Qing went crazy for a moment and smashed all the 200 wall corner values he had obtained from Ling Huchong. Upgrade proficiency of Bibo palm technique. Upgrade proficiency of Bibo palm technique. System prompts kept popping up in Han Qing's mind. Not to mention anything else, upgrading sounds great and brings a sense of accomplishment. Learned martial arts. Blue wave palm technique, De Shang. Han Qing proudly snapped his finger. Do you see it? This is the power of the system. Although it has only elevated 2 levels, there are still 2 steps left to achieve perfection. But this is just spending 200 wall corner values. What's not much of that thing yet is, holding onto Yu Lingshan's little hand and standing in front of Ling Huchong, crazily riding his face and mocking, isn't that how much? Just 2 seconds, at least 5 or 6 years of hard work were saved. It's just a thief like that. With the upgrade of the blue wave palm technique. Along with it, Han Qing's own cultivation level also improved. The host's cultivation level has been elevated to 3rd rate. The host's cultivation level has been elevated to 2nd rate. The host's cultivation level has been elevated to 1st class. Finally, Han Qing's cultivation level was elevated to a 1st class level of great fulfillment, and thus stopped. This is not the limit of Han Qing's century-old skill within his body. This limited realm is not enough to explode the experience points stored in Han Qing's body. The 1st class round full is the limit of the internal mental skill of the blue wave palm technique. After all, it is just a simple internal mental technique, and being able to carry it to a 1st class level is already considered good. Han Qing pondered in his heart. Huang Rong said that there are a total of 7 cultivation levels for martial artists in this world of comprehensive martial arts, and there may be more than one, but she only knows so much. The cultivation realm can be divided into 3 categories. 3rd rate, 2nd rate, 1st class, super 1st class, peerless, master, great master, and the peerless realm is equivalent to an innate master. From here on, the internal power of ordinary warriors will be further refined, and their moves and power will also be greatly improved. It is a joint node that undergoes qualitative changes due to quantitative changes. Countless warriors with average qualifications have stopped here. If there is no chance, even in extreme poverty, one will stop at the top level for a lifetime, making it difficult to make progress. And for Han Qing, who has been using his century-old skills, this is not a problem at all. It seems that as long as you can obtain high-quality internal mental techniques, you can unlock this upper limit and continue to improve with the help of your body's century-old power. Is the 1st class realm fully fulfilled? There is only a narrow gap between being a top-tier expert, which seems quite good. At least he is no longer a rookie, and this cultivation level can still be considered a thing of the past. Han Qing felt so relieved in his heart. However, we still need to find a higher level internal mental technique than the blue wave palm technique as soon as possible. Although Han Qing is only in the realm of 1st class to Yuan Man, it should be noted that he is a 1st class to Yuan Man master with 100 years of skill. Even if there is only a relatively simple blue wave palm technique, if Han Qing uses this method to unleash all of his internal power, even a master in the peerless realm will have to drink hatred on the spot. Han Qing's body surged with waves of energy, and Huang Rong knew that it was the strong wind brought by the martial artist's breakthrough of his internal power realm when he improved his cultivation. Every time it is raised, the air wave will erupt. Han Qing Gang, an ordinary person with no realm, instantly rose 3 times. This surprised Huang Rong with her mouth wide open. Oh! I didn't expect your martial arts talent to be so good. I didn't expect you to reach such a level after practicing mind techniques and entering the Tao. It's amazing. Facing Huang Rong's praise, Han Qing rarely put on a wave. Just showing a faint bitter smile. He knew in his heart that his martial arts talent was actually quite average. The mediocre can no longer be mediocre. Being able to achieve such impressive performance relies entirely on the support of the system. Without a system, he is really nothing. Han Qing naturally also wanted to have a higher level of improvement, so he looked at Huang Rong with a close smile. Master. I have completely mastered the blue wave palm technique now. Can you teach me some more advanced techniques? I will definitely make a promise to repay your great kindness. Han Qing wants to work hard and elevate himself to a super first-class level, even towards the innate realm that countless martial artists aspire to. Huang Rong extended her small hand and pushed Han Qing's face, which had a flattering smile, aside. You can't reward yourself for your beauty. Huang Rong extended 2 green onion-like jade fingers and made a fork. No way. Absolutely not. Why? Aren't we all in this kind of relationship now? Han Qing is a bit anxious. Huang Rong shook her little head. You are not from our Peach Blossom Island. Although I do have many powerful martial arts skills on Peach Blossom Island, even if I am your nominal master, I cannot teach you any more advanced martial arts secrets. If my dad finds out at this moment, with his temper, he will definitely kill you. Huang Rong stared at Han Qing with a slightly complicated little gaze. I'm doing it for your own good. My dad has such a temper, but even I can't stop him. If you know, you'll be dead. Han Qing felt his chin helplessly. But he did not give up his desire to obtain the cultivation method. But instead, the focus was temporarily shifted to the strategy of Huang Rong. He is very clear about what kind of person his future father-in-law, Huang Yaoshi, will be. He completely believes what Huang Rong said. However, if we pick off the delicate peach blossom of Huang Rong, we can have another piece of raw rice to cook mature rice. Huang Yaoshi cannot do anything to him, so even if everyone is a family, obtaining the cultivation of Peach Blossom Island is naturally justified. So we have to make Huang Rong willingly marry him and have a wedding ceremony. Han Qing's gaze fell on Huang Rong. Suddenly, it fell on the particularly pleasing curve in front of her. Chapter 8. Buqun forcefully quits marriage. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Huang Rong suddenly pursed her lips and 2 blushes flew over her face. Disgusting, stinky disciple, where are your eyes looking? If you dare to look at master again, be careful that I'll dig out your eyeballs. Han Qing's naked gaze aroused a wave of coquettishness from Huang Rong. At this moment, with a bang, the closed courtyard gate was once again kicked open by someone. Kicked by black wine once, the door hanging crookedly at the door finally couldn't hold up and fell to the ground in pain. Han Qing can't help complaining about it. No, can we just knock on the door first? Do people in this world have the hobby of opening doors with their feet? Are the people selling doors here quite profitable? Before Han Qing finished roast, he saw a group of people in blue robes swarming into the courtyard. Still an old acquaintance of Han Qing, the returning disciples of Lingshan, Ling Huchong, Lao Dino, and a group of others from the Huashan sect. The leader among them is a middle-aged man wearing a white robe, holding a folding fan, with a humble and elegant demeanor, and a dignified appearance. There is still a proud and majestic feeling between the eyebrows and eyes. At first glance, they are not ordinary people. A personal name popped up in Han Qing's heart. Based on the identity of the people around him, this white-faced scholar should be the legendary gentleman's sword Buqun. And Lingshan also returned to her original appearance, wearing a light pink long dress, like a charming peach blossom fairy. Seeing his beloved wife like this, Han Qing's heart became even hotter. Han Qing still warmly greeted Lingshan. "Madam, have you returned so soon? Come to your husband's side quickly." Lingshan was both shy and angry, stomping her small foot and moaning coquettishly. "No way. This time my dad is here to take me and you to separate. You should hurry up and write down the separation, it's good for everyone." Buqun shook his folding fan in his hand. His gaze swept over Han Qing with dignity. At this moment, Han Qing still had the image of a beggar like a servant. Han Qing clearly caught the hint of disdain flickering in Buqun's eyes. However, Buqun still maintains a good gentleman demeanor. After all, maintaining the character of the gentleman's sword is the most important thing in his life. Buqun first clasped his fists and saluted Han Qing. "Han Gongzi, let me introduce myself. I am the father of Lingshan, the leader of the Huashan sect, Buqun. Thanks to the admiration of people in the martial arts world, I am bestowed the title of Gentleman's Sword. My Buqun has always had a fondness for making friends with righteous and heroic figures in the martial arts world. He never tries to force others into difficulties, but considering that my daughter is still young and that we are destined to have no emotional foundation with Prince Han. So I still want to ask Lord Han to write a letter of Healy. I am willing to offer 100 taels as Lord Han's allowance. What do you think?" Han Qing couldn't help but sneer in his heart. What a hypocritical hypocrite. What's the point of bringing a group of people over with a grand presence when you say it's really better than singing, and you keep saying you don't bully others? Be brave. I also like to make friends with heroes in the martial arts world, and write a story about Healy giving someone 100 taels as a gift. It's really about sending beggars away. At least this Huashan sect is also a famous sect in the martial arts world, so it naturally requires face recognition. To avoid being falsely accused of bullying others and bullying the weak, Han Qing can only take the initiative to resolve this matter. Only then can this matter be resolved. Han Qing, however, was not angry. In the face of a hypocrite, if he got angry, he would end up in trouble. "Master Yu, who has long admired a great reputation, I am under the command of Han Qing. Since Master Yu personally visits now, I believe you already know about me and Lingshan." Buqun gently stroked his green beard and nodded expressionlessly. Han Qing continued. "Although Lingshan and I were indeed forced into a relationship, we also worshipped heaven and earth in front of the heavens and earth, and formed this golden and jade bond. With this heaven and earth as evidence, the two of us can also be considered a legitimate couple. Isn't such a hasty separation deceiving heaven and earth? Moreover, 100 days of kindness between husband and wife in a day, and the fate between Lingshan and me is not yet complete. I'm afraid we won't be able to leave this book. I'm really sorry, why don't Master you go back for now? I know that the Huashan sect is a wealthy and prestigious family, and I definitely can't do anything. Later, I, Han Qing, will definitely make up for all of Shaner's 3 gifts and 6 hires, and I won't let anyone down." In short, Han Qing's attitude is just one sentence. Even if the heavenly king Laozi comes, his marriage with Lingshan cannot be separated. Buqun's face suddenly changed, extremely pale, and his breathing became a bit heavy. Just because of his face, Buqun didn't want to have a sudden attack. Ling Hu Chong had already suppressed his anger on the side, and when he saw Han Qing refusing to comply, he immediately stood up and rebuked him. "Han Qing, my master personally came to divorce you, which gives you some face. Don't be shameless. Just because you're just a beggar, you're not worthy of my junior sister." You're a sensible person. Get out of here with 100 taels of silver. For a beggar like you, it's a lot of money. Don't be disrespectful. Otherwise, my Huashan sect will never keep you. A group of disciples of the Huashan sect shouted in unison for their senior brothers. I will never keep you. Han Qing couldn't help but sneer and say, oh my, there are many people and a lot of momentum. I'm sorry, I'm not a big threat to Han Qing. It's up to you, Ling Hu Chong. Seeing a group of disciples from the Huashan sect supporting him, Ling Hu Chong dared to bully him and put pressure on Han Qing in a fierce manner. How can Han Qing get used to it? Immediately take a step forward and spread your momentum to confront Ling Hu Chong. At this moment, Buqun stood up to support his beloved disciple. His eyes were full of threats to Han Qing. Han Gongzi, I, Buqun, also respect you as a hero and hero. I have heard about your previous efforts to save Lingshan and Chong'er, so I have repeatedly humbly conceded to you. But if you still maintain this attitude, then I won't say that my Huashan sect disciples won't agree. In the future, if Han Gongzi's deed spread to the martial arts world like this, I'm afraid it will fall on people's tongues and cause criticism, and it won't be easy to get along in the martial arts world in the future. Buqun is trying to exert pressure on Han Qing through the entire network of people in the martial arts world. As long as Han Qing is a martial artist, the most important thing to do in the martial arts world is reputation. If we end up with a ruined reputation, the outcome will be quite tragic, and there will be no place to live in the world. Han Qing sneered slightly, ignoring Buqun's threat. Master you don't need to pressure me with words. Although I, Han Qing, am a martial artist, I don't care at all about this so-called reputation and disgrace. I only care about getting enough food and clothing, and getting married to a woman. If Master Yu wants me to divorce. Yes, if you defeat me, I will agree to divorce. If Master Yu is defeated by me, I will say. Buqun did not expect Han Qing to propose such a gambling agreement, and couldn't help but show a happy expression on his face. However, his facial expression management was extremely effective, and he still remained calm and resolute. If I am defeated by you, I will promise to marry you and Lingshan, and all dowries will be waived. I acknowledge that you are my son-in-law, Buqun, and I will no longer pursue you. Okay, truly worthy of being a gentleman's sword, and acting openly and honestly. Han Qing immediately made a firm promise to gamble. He is incredibly confident in his strength. Even if it was just a first-class realm, with the blessing of 100 years of martial arts, Han Qing had the confidence to defeat Buqun. The best way to deal with this cunning hypocrite who values face and character the most is to use this to make Buqun cocoon himself. This move of supporting and killing has long been perfected by Han Qing. No matter what world it is, almost no one can crack the trick of supporting and killing. As long as they are praised correctly, anyone will lose themselves in the midst of each sentence of praise. Buqun also holds absolute confidence. I saw Buqun take a step forward, flapping his sleeves in an incredibly graceful manner, and unleashing the surging internal energy all over his body. Han Gongzi, I'll let you take action first. Han Qing gave a brilliant smile. Master Yu, I would like to remind you to use your sword and give it your all, so as not to admit your defeat. Buqun gave a hearty smile. Haha. No need, if you use the long sword to avoid saying I bully the small with the big, then we will have one palm to determine the winner. Buqun may seem humble, but in reality, he is simply pulling Han Qing to compete for internal strength. How could he lose to a little beggar in his early 20s at his age? Han Qing also gained insight into the cunning thoughts of Buqun. He let out a cold laugh in his heart. Okay, hold me and compete for internal strength. I really have thick skin, but don't blame me for hitting the nail on the head. Drink. Han Qing let out a soft drink. With a flick of his right palm, he leaped towards Buqun. Carrying an incredibly thick internal force, he headed straight towards Buqun. Buqun, in order to be able to withdraw his daughter's marriage, shamelessly slapped both hands together. At the moment when two people's palms come into contact, Buqun's face suddenly changed, extremely pale. Shit! Buqun cursed loudly in his heart. Because he felt a vast internal force rushing towards him like a raging beast. That feeling was like standing by the seaside, watching a tsunami reaching up to 100 feet pressing down on me alone. At that moment, Buqun felt the loneliness, despair, and confusion. Playing as a pig and eating a tiger. This was Buqun's first reaction, and immediately countless question marks rose in his heart. How did this kid acquire such profound internal strength? Is there a master behind the scenes who passed on the credit? Apart from this, no one can cultivate such vast internal strength in their early 20s. Boom! Buqun's elegant and straight figure suddenly curved. Shoo! Bang! Buqun awkwardly smashed in front of Lingshan, Lingshan, and others, creating a big hole with him. Master! Dad! Lingshan and Lingshan quickly helped Buqun up. Qing made a bend in the air with his right hand, gracefully swiping over his right hair. That's right, elegance never goes out of style. Master Yu. The outcome has been decided, please accept. From the perspective that Buqun is his father. In law Qing can be considered as letting go of the sea. If you put in all your strength for 100 years, coupled with the continuous flow of the blue wave palm, I'm afraid Buqun will turn into a group of Huashan sect disciples in front of Lingshan and others. Buqun quickly patted the dust on his clothes. Although he didn't know Qing's background, he knew that the other party had kept his hand. The 100 Zhang tsunami weakened a lot at the moment of contact with him. If it were not for this, he would undoubtedly die. Faced with such a master, Buqun ignored the painful buttocks and spoke simply. Xian Sun. In law, you are now my Buqun son. In law. I have agreed to your marriage with Xuanhuan. Later, I will also entertain guests from all directions and make your wedding banquet beautiful. I will let you have a wedding and all the expenses be borne by me. Buqun pounded his chest with a deafening sound. Chapter 9. Confirming Marriage and Obtaining the Demon Repellent Sword Manual. You are listening at Novel FUL. Audio. Qing couldn't help but smile as he watched Buqun say so. Sure enough, it must be Buqun. Although Buqun is a hypocritical villain, he understands more thoroughly than anyone else when it comes to being a capable man. Buqun clearly saw Qing's potential. With such strong strength, if he could become the son. In law of his Huashan sect leader, what would be the exorcism sword manual? Directly moving out of one's son. In law status can make one invincible in the world. And the price is just to pay for the happiness of one's own daughter. This deal is simply too cost-effective. If there is still a hint of hesitation, it is a lack of respect for reality. The disciples of the Huashan sect were immediately stunned by Buqun's words. Lingshan and Lingshan looked at Buqun with disbelief. Isn't that what you said back then? Lingshan immediately expressed her attitude. Dad, when we came, we agreed to divorce Mr. Han. Why did you still agree to the marriage? No, I must leave. Buqun caressed his green beard. Lingshan, don't act recklessly. Previously, I didn't know my virtuous son. In law's strength. With such strength, he is more than enough to become my Buqun son. In law. What my virtuous son. In law said is right. You have already worshipped heaven and earth, and using heaven and earth as evidence, such hasty separation is a great disrespect to heaven and earth. If it goes against the will of heaven, it will be punished by heaven. Qing hugged his arm with a smile on his face as he watched Buqun perform astonishing actions. It has to be said that Buqun's nonsense skills are not much worse than Qing's. Lingshan immediately stood up and continued to oppose. Master, I disagree. My junior sister and I have been loving each other since we were young, and we were childhood sweethearts. Since both junior sisters want to separate from each other, master, you can't compromise Lingshan just because the other person is strong. Yu Buquan's eyes turned sideways, causing the fox to charge forward. Who is the leader of the Huashan sect? My Yu Buquan has a clear word. Since Lingshan has already married Prince Han, it is a divine gift and cannot be done. I officially announce this matter as the head of the Huashan sect. Do anyone else want to go against it? Yu Buquan even moved out of his position as the leader of the Huashan sect to suppress Ling Huchong. Even if Ling Huchong and Yu Lingshan were unwilling in their hearts, they could only obey Yu Buquan's orders. The two of them drooped their heads and sighed helplessly. Ling Huchong grabbed his hair with both hands, unable to help but feel grief and despair. Ding! Ling Huchong suffers a blow, and the protagonist gains a wall base value of 100. Mohahaha. Han Qing's heart was filled with joy. At present, there is only one son of destiny, Ling Huchong, so it is natural to catch Ling Huchong, this sheep, and crazily collect wool. Getting the wall corner value is so simple. The disciples of the Huashan sect lowered their heads and remained silent, afraid of anyone speaking out to refute. Yu Buquan approached Han Qing with an incredibly close and gentle smile. Patting Han Qing's shoulder, he said, "Dear son-in-law, there are still some important matters that my Huashan sect has to deal with in the city of Fuzhou in the past few days. It may take a little longer for 2 days. But you don't have to worry, Lingshan is already your virtuous wife, and this will not change in any way. You can cultivate your own relationship. As an elder, it's not easy for me to ask about your young people's affairs. After finishing the matter later, I will take you two back to the Huashan sect to handle the marriage." The implication in Yu Buquan's words is quite obvious. That doesn't delay Han Qing's happiness at all. Han Qing couldn't help but give a thumbs up in his heart, and Yu Buquan had to be particular. In a good mood, Han Qing also realized the purpose of Yu Buquan's visit to Fuzhou City. "It's just that trivial matter, naturally I know it well." Han Qing secretly asked Yu Buquan. "What your father-in-law said was for the sake of the Fuwei escort agency's anti-evil sword manual." Yu Buquan was slightly taken aback, then quickly looked up to the right and denied it. No, why did the wise son-in-law say such a thing? Maybe he heard the rumors and gossip circulating in the martial arts world, it's just a false rumor. It's not credible. How could Yu Buquan personally admit his thoughts? Han Qing had not yet cooked mature rice with Yu Lingshan, so he did not fully expose Yu Buquan's thoughts. "Anyway, I think it's better not to take that exorcism sword manual. It's not very useful. Although the sword technique can be quickly mastered and can be called a top expert after 3 to 5 years of cultivation, the conditions for cultivation are too strict. If you want to cultivate the warding off evil sword manual, you need to go to the palace first, which is a sword technique that eunuchs can only practice." Upon hearing Han Qing's words, everyone couldn't help but suddenly realize. What? There are so strict conditions for practicing the demon-repeating sword manual. No one has ever mentioned it. Oh. I understand now. If that's the case, that's reasonable. No wonder the anti-evil sword manual has such a great reputation, but the strength of the Fuwei escort agency and the Lin family is so weak, and their cultivation is even more ordinary. I had also thought about this issue before. I thought it was because the Lin family was lazy and unwilling to practice hard, or because their martial arts talent was too mediocre. It turns out that there are such strict prerequisites. To cultivate the sword manual for warding off evil spirits, one must become a eunuch. As the saying goes, no offspring is great. Although practicing the sword manual for warding off evil spirits can obtain immense strength, if one becomes a eunuch, wouldn't the Lin family end up with no offspring? The disciples of the Huashan sect are discussing extensively. Huang Rong, who was watching the excitement on the side, originally had little interest in the exorcism sword manual. Seeing Han Qing and Buqun discussing the exorcism sword manual, they looked at the birds on the treetops with a dull expression on the side. But when Han Qing said that the anti-evil sword manual was a sword technique that eunuchs could only practice, he immediately became interested. Huang Rong instantly approached Han Qing's side, and her beautiful eyes burst into a dazzling light. Han Qing, that's interesting. Men need to become eunuchs to practice, so women should be fine practicing. It sounds so interesting. Why don't we go to the FUL escort agency and steal the anti-evil sword manual to see what it looks like? I really wonder what the eunuch sword manual looks like. Han Qing didn't intentionally conceal Huang Rong's interest in this thing. The exorcism sword manual is a treasure for Buqun and others, but it really has little value for Han Qing. Han Qing spread his hands. The true anti-evil sword manual is not from the FUL escort agency. If you steal it from the agency, you might end up running for nothing. If not, Xuanhuan will not pounce on nothing. Han Qing looked at Huang Rong with great interest. If you're interested in the exorcism sword manual, I can take you to get the real one. Huang Rong's beautiful eyes suddenly shone, and she tugged at Han Qing's sleeve. Okay, it's not too late. Let's go now. Standing on the side, Buqun looked at Han Qing with a puzzled gaze. Listening to Han Qing's words, it seems that he has a good understanding of the exorcism sword manual. But he had been coveting the exorcism sword manual for a long time, but never received such news. I couldn't help but doubt Han Qing's words in my heart, but even so, Buqun still held some illusions. Buqun explained to Lingshan. Lingshan, since that's the case, why don't you go and explore with your virtuous son-in-law? It's just a chance to cultivate the relationship between your husband and wife. Although Lingshan reluctantly pouted, she still nodded and responded to Buqun's order. Got it, Dad. Han Qing bid farewell to Buqun and others, and headed straight to a hidden place in Fuzhou City with Huang Rong and Lingshan. This mansion occupies a considerable area, and its spacious entrance and towering courtyard walls prove the glory of the former mansion. But now, with the passage of time, the walls are mottled, the roofs, and the courtyards are overgrown with weeds. Only the elderly servants, in groups of 3 or 2, are guarding here, almost in vain. Huang Rong saw Han Qing bringing them here and couldn't help but wonder. Han Qing, isn't this the Lin family's old house? Are you saying that the famous exorcism sword manual in the martial arts world is here? Huang Rong looked at the dilapidated Lin family mansion, her eyes full of suspicion. Han Qing nodded confidently. Not bad, the demon-repeating sword manual is right here. Don't joke, how could that precious sword manual be here? Didn't it have been stolen by thieves a long time ago? I see you're just talking big. Lingshan pouted and had the same idea as Huang Rong. Han Qing suddenly approached Lingshan's small face. If the demon-repeating sword manual is here, how can the lady reward me? Faced with Han Qing's intimate behavior, Lingshan blushed and retreated slightly to widen the distance. No, I won't bet with you. You're slippery and cunning. If I agree to you, I'll definitely suffer again. Han Qing smiled in his heart, not expecting this silly girl to be even smarter once. Although Han Qing is not a good person, her father, who is capable of deceiving his daughter, is not much better than him. If it weren't for Buqun's strong support, Han Qing wouldn't have been so easy to succeed. I don't make any excessive demands either. If you find it, just give me a kiss, madam. Unexpectedly, Lingshan foolishly agreed. Okay, if not, I'll slap you. Han Qing had a wicked smile in his heart. If he didn't have full confidence, how could he come here? What a silly little girl. She was really sold by her biological father and helped Han Qing count money. Han Qing, along with Huang Rong and Lingshan, bypassed the old man and infused his internal energy into his feet. With a casual kick on the wall, he effortlessly climbed over the high wall. Push open the deepest room of the Lin family's old house. A thick layer of dust suddenly stirred up, indicating that no one had stepped on it for a long time, causing Huang Rong and Lingshan to cough. The two women looked around with disdainful eyes. Qing went straight to the goal. Jump up and onto the beam above your head, taking off a tattered bundle. Upon opening it, there was a dirty and worn-out robe held inside. Qing spread out the robe on the ground, and there were indeed some small words on it. Huang Rong leaned over with a suspicious expression and looked carefully, then couldn't help but exclaim in surprise. "Oh my goodness, not to mention it, it seems like it's really the demon repeating sword manual. Qing pointed to the other side of the robe. "The map is on the other side." Qing looked at Lingshan and saw her dumbfounded with her mouth open, looking at the exorcism sword manual with a somewhat silly and cute expression. The alluring red lips parted slightly, making one unable to resist the urge to come up and taste them. Maybe it's still peach-flavored. Chapter 10. Printing the Demon Repellent Sword Manual, Buying and Selling Without Capital and Profit. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Qing suddenly leaned in. Bark. I gave Lingshan a kiss on the face. Lingshan was caught off guard and immediately covered her face with embarrassment. Ah. Annoying. Hey, I'm already an old man and wife. Why are you so shy? I'm willing to give up, come on. Qing pointed to his face and teased Lingshan. Lingshan's face turned red just now. She nodded lightly on Qing's face, then shyly turned her head and ignored Qing. Qing, who had taken advantage of the situation, also took it easy and slowly seduced her step by step. After some confirmation, Huang Rong nodded and admitted. Not bad, I have studied this set of exorcism sword manual. As Qing said, it is a fast and powerful method. However, in order to achieve the goal, one must first go to the palace to change the direction of the meridians and achieve such an effect. Huang Rong waved her little hand uninteresting. The cultivation method of self-harming the body to obtain a certain level of cultivation is not a superior method. It seems that I have high regard for it. After understanding it, it really doesn't mean much. Then Huang Rong's eyes turned and a hint of cunning flashed. Qing knew what kind of scheme Huang Rong was up to. Hey! You said that the warding off evil sword technique is a eunuch sword technique anyway. Instead of leaving it in this old house to dust, it's better to create some value for us. We will print out this exorcism sword manual and sell it for 1,000 taels of silver each. Let's see how many people are willing to buy it. Anyway, this sword manual is much better than the miscellaneous techniques outside. But if you want to practice, you need to go to your own palace, hee. I'll look back and see how many people in the martial arts world are willing to become eunuchs for the sake of strength, and then there will be many eunuchs in the martial arts world. That's good, at least there won't be so many people going to harm the girl. While accumulating wealth, isn't it still about eliminating harm for the people? People die for wealth, birds die for food. If there are really people who are willing to become eunuchs for the sake of strength, then they cannot blame them. If a few sons of fate cannot withstand the temptation and become eunuchs, it is not equivalent to indirectly reducing their love rivals. The most important thing is that although Qing has some accomplishments, he does not have a rich family background. No matter which world you are in, you can pretend to be poor but not really poor, and this truth is extremely clear to Qing. Okay, this is indeed a good way to make money, let's just do it. Lingshan's eyes also showed a rare expression of joy. Right, making money is the most important. The three of them hit it off at once. Then he arrived at a printing factory in the city of Fuzhou with the copied exorcism sword manual. Qing, like an old man, pushed open the door and shouted. Boss, come out quickly and start a big business. A middle-aged boss with a long shirt and black hat walked out and looked up and down at Han Qing and the others. Do you want to print something? Han Qing took out the sword manual. Let's print 500 copies of this sword manual first. The boss looked at the sword manual and extended a finger. Okay, 100 taels of silver, paid as you go, guaranteed to be a decent amount within 3 days. Han Qing instinctively looked at Huang Rong and Lingshan. He used to have 2 companions in his family, but was chased by disciples of the Tianli sect. Now he is penniless and extremely poor. Huang Rong also helplessly spread out her hands. I'm just like you, both beggars, how can I have money? Lingshan also shook her head helplessly. I'm embarrassed now. I don't have the money to print sword manuals, how can I make money? The boss waved his hand disdainfully. Those few people won't be far away. Huang Rong, however, came up with a solution and immediately took out the sword manual to promote it to the owner of the printing factory, saying, Hey boss, I can tell you, this is a genuine exorcism sword manual. Even if you don't practice, you can still buy one for your son or others. Not expensive, 1,000 taels per book, offset the printing fee, you can give me another 900 taels. This unprofitable transaction has made Huang Rong understand. The owner of the printing factory suddenly rolled his eyes. I couldn't help but laugh at Huang Rong in my heart. Do you think I'm stupid? Are you still looking for 900 taels? When I was printing, I secretly kept a copy myself. Who would still spend that wasted money? Huang Rong clearly saw the boss's thoughts and couldn't help but chuckle. Do you want to secretly keep a copy of it yourself to avoid paying for the secret script? Boss, you're overthinking it. We have divided this exorcism sword manual into 3 parts, printed them in 3 printing factories, and finally merged and bound them together in one place. This way, no one of you can expect to get the complete book. However, considering that you are the boss, I can offer you a discount of 50% off, just 500 taels. The boss stared at Huang Rong expressionlessly, as if looking at a fool. Are you saying that this is a peerless sword technique secret script? You just need 1,000 taels to offset my printing fee. Do you really think I'm a fool? Huang Rong seemed to have known the boss would say that for a long time, so she couldn't help but snap her fingers. Han Qing, work for the boss. Okay. Han Qing responded. With one hand, he lifted a solid iron ball that was about half a person high from the ground. Then Han Qing exerted his dual palms and unleashed his century-old skills. Accompanied by a crisp sound. The surging internal force squeezed countless cracks out of the entire iron ball, and finally it shattered into pieces with a loud bang. More than a dozen strong men struggled to move the big iron ball, but in the blink of an eye, it was turned into a pile of iron filings by Han Qing. The boss's eyes burst out in an instant. Han Qing waved his hand at the boss. Breaking the iron ball with bare hands, thank you very much. Huang Rong immediately started blowing. Did you see it, boss? This is just some superficial knowledge learned from the demon repeating sword manual. If you have learned, you can also have such power. What kind of printing factory will you do then? Just become a hero and make a name for yourself. How about it? Is our secret script real or fake? Seeing Han Qing so fierce, the boss turned his head and rushed into the inner room without saying a word, taking out several bags of 400 taels of silver. Put it directly into Huang Rong's hand. Here is 400 taels, the printing fee will be directly offset, and I will print it for you. Huang Rong smiled and looked at the 400 taels of silver in her hand, happily handing over the complete version of the exorcism sword manual to the boss. The boss immediately opened the anti-evil sword manual and saw the first line of characters on it. Suddenly, the eyebrows took off. Wanama, if you want to practice this skill, you must first go to the palace or become a eunuch first. Huang Rong is a serious nonsense. Yeah, that's for sure. Look at this young man, he looks energetic and handsome. It's because he refined his palace and became a eunuch that he became a peerless powerhouse at such a young age. Huang Rong smirked and patted the boss's shoulder. To become a peerless powerhouse so quickly, one must pay a small price. Huang Rong extended 2 green onion-like jade fingers and gestured a pinching gesture. But it's just a matter of 1 or 2 inches. What can't be left behind? Which is more important or less important, consider it for yourself. The boss couldn't help but give a long hiss. That does sound a bit reasonable. The boss turned his gaze to Han Qing, with a hint of pity and sympathy in his eyes. Hey, there are 2 peerless beauties around me who cannot enjoy them, so I can only watch them. At such a young age, I have become a eunuch and have been so ruthless towards myself. No wonder I can become a peerless expert, so powerful. Han Qing. In order to print out the exorcism sword manual. The eunuch's name, Han Qingren. Solved the printing fee. Han Qing and a few others stayed in the printing factory, supervising the workers inside to start printing sword spectra. Quickly, under the skillful operation of the workers, sword manuals were printed one by one. Bright smiles appeared on the faces of Han Qing and the others. These are not sword manuals one after another, they are clearly silver bills waving at them. Just as Han Qing and his companions were imagining the beautiful life of the richest man in the future. Bang! The gate of the printing factory was kicked open by someone. A group of Qianli sect disciples dressed in white robes swaggered and walked in with great momentum. As soon as I entered the door, I shouted, "Where's the boss? Get out of here quickly." The boss ran out in a daze, his eyes flashing with fear when he saw someone from the Qianli sect. "Ladies and gentlemen of the Qianli sect, I wonder if you have any instructions." The disciples of the Qianli sect, led by them, slapped the new work of Lady Long in their hands on the boss's face and proudly announced. "Our master has instructed us to print Lady Long's new work as soon as possible. The more, the better. If you print less, be careful of your head." The disciples of the Qianli sect grabbed the boss's collar with a fierce and menacing expression. The Qianli sect has strong strength and is still a martial arts sect. Where could a small printing factory owner offend? The boss quickly nodded wildly. Yes, I will postpone all the other orders and make sure to go all out to print the master's novel first. It will be ready in a few days. Please grant me a few more days." Seeing the boss plead guilty, the disciples of the Neo-Confucianism finally triumphantly pushed the boss to the ground. "That's pretty good. We'll come and pick it up in 3 days." Just as the disciples of the Qianli sect were preparing to leave. Suddenly, a clear and angry female voice came through. "Stop me, we came first. Why do we print them first? Huang Rong and the others are still waiting to print out the exorcism sword manual to make money. How could Huang Rong be willing to print a broken novel when the Qianli sect came over?" Immediately, she raised her eyebrows and protested. The boss quickly walked up to Huang Rong and advised him kindly. "You don't know anything about this girl. They are members of the Qianli sect and can't afford to offend you. Don't worry, after their things are printed, will they arrange for you immediately. If it's a big deal, I'll refund the printing fee to you. Auntie, you can't cause trouble." Han Qing didn't think so. What's wrong with the Qianli sect? The Qianli sect is nothing, it's not that it hasn't been cleaned up before. Don't you even understand the rule of first come, second served? If we come first, we have to print first. The boss covered his face with fear and quickly huddled aside. Muttering to himself, "That's it, something big is about to happen." A group of disciples of the Qianli sect happened to walk to the gate and heard Han Qing's words. A group of people turned around and looked at Han Qing and the others. "Yoha, it seems that there are still people who are not convinced by our magnificent Qianli sect.